Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Returning back on to the live air, live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio. And I'm going to bring back to the show someone that's very special to me. I usually bring her on the show when I need somebody to argue with, as if I ain't got somebody to argue with here in the studio. But we've been doing this since I was born. She's my big sister. She's my cousin. I call her my sister cuz. I got cousin Terry on the live line. What it up? What it up? What it up? What it do? What it do? What it do?
What's going on, Legacy family and all the listeners? Thank you for having me, Brusin.
Yo, man.
You call me sister cuz, I call you Brusin.
Yeah, man.
And
You know, the
that's
family
how
thinks
we'll work it out.
we're the two weirdos of the
I'm
family.
glad to have you invite me on again. Glad to be here. What's
Yeah,
up?
man.
What we got to talk about?
Well, usually, you know, we the two crazy ones in the family. So, you know, they be looking at us like, y'all be making up names and words and stuff. That's just what we do. But that's what we do. But usually when this particular topic comes up, I kind of want to talk to you because, you know, we're on different ends of the spectrum with this. And, you know, you always have, you know, a compelling argument that gives me pause. I have to think about it. And, you know, I would guess that I do the same. And there was an article that came out. It came out about a month ago, but I'm just now seeing it now. The headline says the new black on black crime reality television producers and the black woman. And I don't know that we need to read through all of that to really get into it. If you live in America, you already know where this is going to go. But I'm going to read a little bit of it. Just for the purposes of, you know, the listeners, maybe they, you know, have only listened to this show, haven't been listening to any other media for the last 10 or 15 years. Just this show, because, you know, they're going to listen to this. Of course, they don't.
That's what they're supposed to do.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Show.
Just
there
this
is
show.
no other show
Nothing
other than
else.
Legacy Internet Radio.
Absolutely. Yeah, you
Right.
learning, my sister. All right. So it starts off, it says, exciting, riveting, jaw-dropping, pearl-clenching, and gut-wrenching, all descriptions of reality TV. Privately, fans enjoy the drama without understanding the more public impact the reality TV has on how black women are perceived. It says African Americans, but I don't say that. Black producers round up other blacks, just as it was done for the banks of Africa, where we were sold each other into slavery. We now do in the boardrooms of America. Producers craft dehumanizing storylines that target their own community, their own sisters, their own brothers, their own blood. Knowingly, they cast vulnerable, unaware, uninformed, lost, hopeless, frustrated, ignorant, greedy, thirsty women with the intention of orchestrating chaos that single-handedly triggers record-breaking profits and sets the scene for the social genocide of the black woman, all while ushering in a new era of black exploitation. That is pretty damn scathing. There's a little bit more here. I could read into it, but I think I've got that pretty much set up. Now,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna speak for you, but I will kind of set up why I wanted to have you for those folks who didn't hear when you and I debated this the last time. Would it be a fair assessment to say that you enjoy the reality TV that was just skewered just now in that piece?
I enjoy the reality TV.
Okay.
At times, and I enjoy it for not the reasons that I used to enjoy it for.
Okay.
4 years ago when Legacy Internet Radio came on.
Okay.
But we had this conversation year one of Legacy.
Yeah. Well, that article was written for the Huffington Post by contributor Kimberly Lachelle. Judging by the photograph, she looks like she's a sister herself. So I just wanted to get that in there. Go ahead and tell me what your thoughts are on what you just heard.
All right, let me give you my take on it, and I really have been thinking about it a lot lately. When we first talked about this almost 4 years ago, my attitude was reality TV was just like pro wrestling. You know, you have these scripted scenes that people put together, and maybe them using the word reality is wrong. But I also think Queen, who wrote the article, may be reading a little bit more into it than she needs to. It's entertainment. But on the other side of entertainment, it's also watching people, I guess, in their real lives, get on their come up. these people have agreed to have cameras follow them around supposedly in their everyday life. Now, what if we had a reality show about Kerry Washington on her struggles to get to the point where she did, where she was able to make Scandal? Or the other women who were able to get starring roles on Orange is the New Black. The reality is people have their struggles, but these people in reality TV, quote unquote reality, they've just chosen to let the cameras follow them around. Now, one of the things that I have learned in my 4 years since that first show was that reality, maybe not so much reality, but I admired these reality stars for using their platform to get on their come up. And I mean, and that's where I look at it now. I think using the word reality is probably a little far-fetched.
I think that's always been.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop you so that we can go back and forth a little bit. That's always been my issue. If you remember the fact that they say reality, the fact that you say reality TV before you even turn it on, you have it in your mind that Marcus J is the person on the show, and he's not portraying a character. He is, in fact, Marcus J. And so when you watch him conduct himself, whether he's conducting himself in a positive way or not, the reality is that's Marcus J. And that's how he rolls. So when you watch multiple shows where you're seeing these black women and black men and these black people acting in ways that's not positive, throwing chairs and throwing shoes and saying the most vile things to one another, it is counterproductive.
But that's not the producers of the show.
I got you. But the producers of the show, but the producer of the show is sitting behind the camera.
They give me nothing to inspire to.
But I got you. I got you on that.
I'm not aspiring to be them.
I got you on that.
But,
let me finish this point.
Yeah,
let me finish this point. Let me finish this point. The producer is sitting behind the counter with the director, and as soon as that shoe comes off and it flies, they just high-fived each other because they know that they just struck ratings gold. As opposed to, watching Run's House, where you saw this black man and his family conducting themselves in a wholly positive way. That show got canceled. You know what I'm saying? So that's my deal. That's my issue. That we, as the consumer, we suck that up. We love that. We love to see one another in a negative light. Now, I know one of the things that's always been, and I'm going to make this point real quick, and I want you to jump in so we can dialogue. But I know one of your counterpoints has always been Scandal. It was Scandal when we had this conversation before, and it's Scandal now because you mentioned Kerry Washington. I think in my mind, the difference is we know when we turn on Scandal that it's not a reality TV show because her name is Kerry Washington, and she plays a character called Olivia Pope. And I think
but what if they put the name on it?
Intellectually, hold on.
Scandal.
I'm almost finished. Intellectually, you can conceptualize the difference between TV show that's scripted, know that it's scripted, and reality TV that only us smart people know is scripted. To that you say what? To that you say what?
No, I was just agreeing. It's scripted.
Yeah. So do you not? I mean, I know you said that your opinion on this is somewhat evolved, but do you still see a place on television for, I don't want to cast aspersions on these shows, but I mean, I don't sit and watch them, but I have been made aware of them and I have seen certain clips. We're talking about Basketball Wives and we're talking about hip hop divas and we're talking about Black Ink Club and shows like this,
Well, in defense of Black Ink, it's Black Ink Crew, and one day I am going to go to 125th and get tatted. But the only thing that changes about my perception of reality TV is I do, and I have accepted that it's not as real as it once was. And we're going back to not just Black Ink Crew, Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're going back to MTV, The Real World, which is where, you know, Tammy Roman got her start. And there was even another young man, and he's now a commentator, and I even want to say a political analyst. His name was Kevin somebody.
Yeah.
But everybody had to get their start somewhere.
Right.
And I challenge you to this. What if I decided tomorrow that I wanted to come and follow you and the Legacy Internet Radio crew around? You're getting ready to go on TV.
Right.
Now, what if I decided to document your struggle? And, you know, you've had struggles. You've had, I'm sure, because I know you and I love you, I know that family team at Legacy Internet Radio has probably had bumped heads and have had some real moments.
Yeah, we have a pretty good one right now.
There's no camera following you around.
Yep, absolutely.
But let's say I choose to follow you around with the camera to document your growth to the point now you're going on 4 years and you're getting ready to be on TV.
Yeah.
Okay, that's reality TV.
That's reality TV, but
now,
the difference between
that's reality TV. You and Big Rube probably done had some arguments. You and my sister Lisa, the comedian, y'all probably done had some arguments that you don't even want to repeat.
No,
but if there was a camera there and people are looking in,
yeah,
then that becomes reality TV.
Well, let me address that.
You making your debut show is going to be reality TV.
I got you. Let me address that. You know, first of all, Big Rube and I, yeah, we have some conversations that we certainly don't want to be aired out, and First Lady comedian that's Lissa P and I certainly have had conversations that we don't want to
have.
Lissa. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lissa.
Please don't call her Lisa. Yeah. but
I'm just Terry.
Nah, I know. I'm just messing with you. But the difference between that is, as the executive producer of that show, me, Marcus J, I would make sure that while the gist of our struggles are made plain for those folks who want to enjoy it, there are certain things that I'm not going to show. I'm not going to show anything that can embarrass me or embarrass Ruben or embarrass Lissa or embarrass anybody. And I find cussing one another out on television for the world to see as an absolute embarrassment. I mean, let me be frank. There are some people. There's some people on Legacy Internet Radio that have had some work. Hold on.
There are some things that some of these people do address that shouldn't be put out there.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you know, so I mean, it's still about, if you're going to producing and you're going to ratings, yes, it's a TV show. They're out there to make money. You know, it doesn't. I mean, maybe their actions demean them as a person, but then you have to look at what's happened as a fallout from it. Several of these reality stars, they have created or grown from some very viable and lucrative businesses, whether it's hair care.
So basically what you're saying.
One of the Beverly Hills wives has a whole food care line, Skinny Somebody.
Let me slow you down.
You know,
let me slow you down.
People are just trying to get their come up.
Let me slow you down.
They just happen to be ratchet.
Okay, let me stop you because we're running out of time. So I'm gonna just say something real quick, and then I'll give you the final brief word before we close it out. But my response to that is, you know, the ends doesn't always have to justify the means. Just because you making money doesn't mean that you're making money the right way, because we know a whole lot of kingpins. And I'm not saying that
all money ain't good money.
I'm not saying that these people are doing anything criminal. Obviously they're not. But I'm just making the point that every single dollar that you make may not necessarily be the right dollar. Like I said, we're running out of time, so I'm gonna give you the last word in the segment. Go for it.
Okay, well, the last quote in the segment that I want to say is, I want to grab a video camera and I want to come and videotape the growth of Legacy Radio, but we won't call it reality TV. We'll call it real TV. But it's the same growth. It's just that you don't have a camera following you around, and you don't have an agent that would negotiate a multi-million-dollar deal. Trust me, if somebody told me they would give me a couple of thousands or hundreds of thousands or $1 million to follow me around with a camera, trust me, I got on a clown nose, a leg warmer, and some stilettos, dancing around so I can retire my mother. It's all about the come up.
I can dig it,
really,
man. Hey, look,
really
and that's
is.
really,
but I'm going to follow you around with a camera, and we're not going to call it reality TV.
That's really the deal. That's really the end result. I mean, if it's for some folks, it's really about making that money, and if that's what it's really about, then I guess I may not necessarily agree with it, but I certainly understand it. Ain't no half step on Marcus J.
Let me ask you this one quick thing before you go to tag. Make
it quick because we're running out of time.
If VH1 were to come to you and say, we want to document Legacy Radio, would you say no?
Legacy Internet Radio would absolutely say yes, but see, here's the difference. You're not going to see nothing ratchet coming from us. You keep saying that. You keep saying
you
that.
never know.
Yeah, I do, because I'm the executive producer.
Life happens.
No, it won't. I'm the executive producer. I'm the gatekeeper, and I'm not going to embarrass my people.
But here's the thing, though. If they came to you and said they wanted a reality show about Legacy Internet Radio, you would not say no, and you would let them put the reality on it, depending on how you act, because you are a man of integrity.
I'm a man of integrity
of course
who will not
question these other people.
Who will not embarrass myself. I will not embarrass your aunt and uncle. And I will not embarrass my family. It's just not going to happen. I will not be a part of anything like that. So I get your analogy, and I get the point that you're trying to make, but it ain't going to fly with me. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. live from the den. Legacy in that radio. I hate to rush you off the line, but we did run kind of up towards the end of the segment. We need to get out of it so that we can move on with other stuff.
I love you.
Love you more, sister cuz.
I love all your family. All right. I'll talk to you guys, Legacy. Happy anniversary.
Word them up.
Can't wait to see you on TV, reality or not.
You got it. Love you too, man. Ain't no ass stuff with Marcus J. live from the dead. Legacy of that radio. I freaking love her to death, man. She's like, that's my cousin right there, my sister cousin. Anyway, taking our final. Well, not our final. We got more show. We're gonna take another break, and when we come back, we got more of the show. You got yours truly and the crew and you. We will be back in a few.